Hello everybody and welcome back to the Little King story playthrough! So, it is night time, because if you recall, at the end of the last part, we were told that at midnight, a mysterious wizard will appear in Magical Land. So obviously we kind of got to go pick him up. And, oh dear, Bird, are you alright, Duck? I mean, these rats are really annoying, I totally agree. But, I don't know what you're doing out here screeching about it all, you know? And, okay, I'll take that, Shizuka. And, yes, we will, but we've got a little bit of time to do before then, you know? I will try my damnedest, but things have got to happen first. Anyway. Ooh! We have a person singing. Oh. So, this is part of the Princess Kokomo's quest. Basically, whenever when you've activated the quest, if you go out between 10 and 12, you'll randomly see people standing still and singing. You won't actually hear them singing, but once you speak to them, you'll get the song. And that's glorious. There are obviously a total of 30 songs in the game, and each song is located in a... well, source of each song is located in a specific place, but they won't appear every night, and yeah, sometimes they might be in slightly different locations, and yeah, it's a little bit difficult. But I'm going to try my damnedest to cover everything that we get through. So, brace yourself that we got from the first guy was Beethoven's Symphony No. 9, 4th movement. What's this fella gonna give us? Moonlight Sonata, eh? This is Beethoven's Piano Sonata No. 14, Moonlight Sonata. Dum-ba-ba, dum-ba-ba. And so, yes, there's a lot of people who do all that singing stuff. And it can get slightly irritating to find because you have only got the 2 hours to do it in, and what can sometimes happen is that sometimes people don't turn up exactly at 10. They'll walk about and get to their spot at 11. So it's a very tight time frame in which you have to pick people up, which can get very, very frustrating. But if you turn up at Magical Land at midnight after that thing's happened, we can find a wizard, the Rainbow Wizard Matt, to be specific, although Rainbow Wizard is his job class, his name's just Matt. And now we've got him. Basically what he can do is, similarly to the Brainy Doctor being able to paralyse your foes, the Rainbow Wizard can petrify your foes, just making them easier to take down, or at least they're not going to be able to hurt you in that time frame. So that's very, very helpful to have. But yes, obviously we're not going to find any more songs at this present moment in time, which is really irritating.
Yes, sir.
But we're going to be doing a lot of running about at night, I feel, because that's the only way we can go about it, really. So I feel I should probably use the Little King Story Wikia to just go over another little thing with the song. So obviously all of them have got little descriptions, so brace yourself, which, as I said, was Symphony No. 9, 4th movement by Beethoven. Its description is a relaxing tune. It can help you forget about your numerous failings and make you think there's hope after all. Hope without surgery, that is. Moonlight Sonata. Song that tells the story of a werewolf and its adventures in London with a rubber duck. How lovely. And then I've completely lost what the other song was, but it's all fine. But basically, also what I wanted to do was, you may have noticed our armour has gone missing. Like, it is nowhere to be seen. Which means, as you might expect, it's up and walking about. Now, I think I'm right in assuming that it was going to be walking about the castle at night. It's always after about 12 o'clock-ish, I think. And if you go find the armour and talk to it, then it will join your ranks. It's a special job class and one that you desperately want to get. But he can also be walking outside your castle, so really what you want to be doing is exploring everywhere after midnight, because that is literally one of the only ways you're going to find him. But he's a very, very, very useful job class, and one that, as you can see, I'm desperate to find. And who's been doodling on the back of my throne? Bloody blighters. Well, since I'm going to be running around like a lunatic for a little while, here is the list that has been compiled by two people, Silktail and Ski Shades on Game FAQs from 6 years ago, of the locations of where people turn up for the Tunesmith book. So you'll get one next to Grunt House, well, next to the Grunt place outside the castle, which is where we've got Brace Yourself. You get one in the farmland behind the western merchant shops. You can find one in the hidden grove by the Ginger. There's one next to the hot spring to the northeast of Castletown. Behind the tree next to Skinny Ray's classroom and the flying machine in the farmlands. One next to the river near Glamourtown Bridge. On the north side of the Soup Church in Castletown. Just south of the Eastern Farmhouse in Farmland. In Appletown. I think it's called Appletown, but either way. In the corner next to the river. By the Knight statue in Soldier Town. In front of the house built over water in Grassland Town, which should be... Yes, that's Moonlight Sonata, so they do link up here quite nicely. You can get one under the left lamppost next to the Gourmet Town sign. You can get one along the wall east of the Eastern Stone Cutting Plant in Stone City. You can get one on the east side of the Red Roof Kebab House in Gourmet Town. One behind the Cowshed in Farmland. One in the inside corner of the L-shaped Clothing House, which is next to the Soldiers Tower Cannon. Soldiers Town Cannon. One east of the Soldiers Town Cannon, between the trees. One next to the stairs in Soldier Town that leads to the overlook of the Marble Dragon Pen. One behind the tree north of the King's Natural Reserve Gate, which is behind a Glamourtown mansion. One behind the Animal Hunter House, which was number 20, and I think we have picked that one up. So I believe that one was Fostering Gang Wars. Tune that celebrates pride and honour. This is what Bugsy Malone was humming before being splurged. I like that that's obvious reference to Bugsy Malone. Fun little musical, that. But Fostering Gang Wars, its actual song is Niccolo Paganini's Caprice number 42, which is quite lovely. So that's that one. There is one in the passage south of the mansion, west of the hospital, south of the theatre in Glamourtown. There is one by the tree behind the hospital in Glamourtown. One between the Egg and Civilization Ruins Gate and the Stone Cutting Plant in Minerstown. One near the mine at the gate to the Primetime Kingdom. One in Royal Town next to the north side of the school. One on the sand of Over There Beach. One in Magical Land near the bridge next to the river, but not through the gate. One atop the drain cover on the northwest side of the Royal City. one on the northwest side of the theatre in Gamertown, and that covers all of the 29 that you can locate before the final thing is activated. So, obviously, a lot of songs, a lot of busy work. Obviously, I've just been running around like a lunatic trying to find this bloody job person. It's just like, come on, turn up, god damn you. But obviously, I just wasn't looking in the right place. He was clearly having a little stroll about time. About time, about town. And clearly just did not want to be found. Which is really irritating. Now, some of the songs that will turn up in the Tunesmith book are repeats of songs that we have already heard. So you will undoubtedly hear La Traviata, you'll hear the New World Symphony, you will hear the Bolero, Gollywog's Cakewalk, the Blue Danube, and all sorts, really. But it's fun. It's nice to hear because, as I said earlier on in the playthrough, actually quite a bit earlier on, Yoshiro Kimura, who is the one who, well, one of the people who worked on the game, found it quite funny that people usually can hum the very first part of a classical piece, but very soon after that they deviate and start making up the rest of the song. So ultimately he invited some of his foreign friends and asked them to hum many different songs that are the ones that appear in the game. So you get to hear all sorts of Kimura's friends having fun trying to hum a bit of classical music. Because I mean, it is true, like, quite a lot of us do recognise certain bits of classical music. Because it is just so well known across the globe, and they're amazing. But ultimately, apart from the main big bits, it can be very difficult to know the rest of the tune. Because really, classical music's not meant for humming, shall we say. It's more of a thing for an orchestra to play, and that's when they're at their most magical. And also, god damn you, my merchants, give me my treasures! Yes, this is the one thing that I did find quite frustrating about the end section of the Little King story, more so in recording it than were I just playing, because were I just playing, I would have done the simple thing of just getting all of the things for the Tunesmith book, wouldn't have necessarily bothered with all the treasures, although I might have also skipped out on doing the Tunesmith book. But then I remembered the first time I did play the game, I did go for everything, because why? Well, it just means you're getting the most out of a game. It's where I always feel the most comfortable, is when I am making the most of what I've got. I mean, there are certain games, as I've said many times before, where just cannot be bothered for the life of me to try to go for 100% because they are simply too large, even if I've really enjoyed the game. Like, for example, Lego City Undercover. That game is far too big, and I am never in my entire life going to try and 100% that game because it's just so damn large. However, for a game like this, I'm not going too far out of my way to complete things. It's not that much of a huge time investment, so I'm fine with that. And also it is just a bit of fun. And also it means I get to talk a little bit more about classical music, which I really do need to explore a little more. Because it's an area which I do like. I love a bit of classical music, but I'm not particularly phenomenally well versed in classical music. Largely just because it's not the type of music that I've had to properly, well and truly deal with. And also that was so close! Just got hemmed in. right at the last moment. God damn you, you bloody boars. Well, piglets, but still. Yeah, I was a grumpy person after that. It was just like, why do you do this to me? It's fine. 'Cause we can repeat it and it'll all be good. So, let's go back to bed. And wake up at 10. And we will start our Tunesmith hunting again. You see, this is what's going to be most of the rest of the parts, is hunting stuff for the Tunesmith book, and also just doing the wrap-up on all of the other princess quests, because we haven't quite gotten everything yet. The other thing that I'm waiting for is for the Craftians to turn up, because I can't actually do any other completion-y thingies until they have turned up, because I can't explore any further in New Island. I can't get the final wonder spot because that's locked behind a Craftian specific blockade. So, yeah, can be a bit annoying. Okay, mate. Will do, and oh, look at the Mountie. They're all sitting in Castletown. How lovely. So, yes, it's an interesting quest, but one which can get slightly frustrating because you are just running about trying to find people and often struggling because how the hell are you meant to find them unless you know exactly where you're looking? So this is Camellia Hag's song, which is based on Giuseppe Verdi's La Traviata, the drinking song. La 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 la. So obviously this is a song that you will have heard at all of the festivals, which is great. And the description for this song is a tune born from an inexplicable head growth. It's the song an old hag with a flower growing out of her noggin was humming on Tripoli's shores. And Tripoli is obviously the largest capital city of Libya. And here we have, I think it was Egans of the Past. I'm not quite sure what that song was. It's not in the description on the list here. We weren't given it, which is really annoying. But I suppose sometimes you can't recognise things. And also, Springtime for Bozos. I'll have to look at that one in a minute. I like that one. So, Egans of the Past, famous tune of the Egan civilization. I must have caught the waves of the ancient ritual by telepathy. I sing it every day for the men in white coats. Oh dear. And then we have Springtime for Bozos, a tune for spring. With the weather warming, there are people that dance naked, but it's okay because it's spring. And Springtime for Bozos is based on Antonio Vivaldi's Four Seasons, First Concerto Spring. Which is lovely, and also I have a feeling that it's sort of based on a song from The Producers, musical, which is Springtime for Hitler, which is quite ridiculous. Here we have I Want That. So this is Salut d'Amour by Edward Elgar. So there's a lot of songs, and it is possible to pick them all up quite quickly, which is great. So here we've got At My Job, which we don't quite know what it's based on actually. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to figure that one out. So, I Want That description here is tune for when you're in trouble. You're on the toilet and you're out of paper. You need help. Now sing this tune. For At My Job, a song for women of glamour and fame, although I toil in the secretary pool at a failing insurance company. So they're quite odd, some of these descriptions, but it's quite fitting. You see, this is why it's annoying, because you've only got those 2 hours to catch these songs. So you're going to be coming back night in, night out to pick them all up. And obviously the people who are going to be repeating them are going to be running about. So you're going to be having a whole mess of music going on around you. We've only got 8. Oh god. This is going to take us quite a while, I feel. But it is nice that you can listen to them again in the Tunesmith book, if you really want to. And, there you are! So, this is the Steel Knight. So, he is essentially a much stronger, hardened knight. He is the strongest type of knight that you can get with a really powerful super attack. So he is now part of our team, and he's never leaving because he's bloody amazing. Like, he's stupidly powerful. It's great. And all I need is a Craftian. All I need is a Craftian. Please turn up, guys. Please. I'm desperate. I want to finish off all of those records. That would make me feel so much happier. But it's fine, because made quite a bit of progress. We've got 2 job classes, we've gotten 8 songs in the Tunesmith book. I think that's good. Let's go to bed.